the mouth sports. Guys, what a weekend we had in college football this Saturday. Brandon, I am a little bit pissed off. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit taken aback. Our favorite team in all of college football, our favorite team, probably all of them, just all-time favorite. Alabama struggled heavily on the defensive side of the ball. Now, the first week we were pretty optimistic about this defense. It looked really good. Second week, we started seeing a little bit of kinks in the armor, a little bit of like, it's not as good. And then Florida exposed our defense Saturday, like really exposed our defense with a guy that doesn't even pass the ball. I mean, dude, Emory Jones, 18 for 28, 195 yards, no touchdowns and one interception. But he rushed all over us, man. Their whole team rushed all over us. We couldn't stop the run. And I say we, like I know it's not we. We're obviously not a part of the University of Alabama, but dude, what happened?
Let me take you back a couple of years. Do you remember Nicky Fitz at Mississippi State when Dan Mullen was there?
Yep.
Do you remember the game that was so close? What was it, 31 to, 30? I can't remember the score. It was, man, that was a close game. And it shouldn't have been, because that Alabama team should have really laid it on them. Now, Alabama obviously came out on top and won the game. But Dan Mullen is a good coach. Florida's a good team. That is a very, very, very tough place to play. Over the last several years, last couple of decades, great teams have went in there, great Georgia teams and great LSU teams and great Auburn teams even have went into the swamp and lost to Florida teams that they should have beaten. So even Florida teams that weren't as well coached as they are now. And Mullen came in with a great game plan. Florida's defense, after they went down 21-3, said, all right, we've had enough. And they brought their A game. Then Florida's offense turned the Jets on. The crowd got involved. We can say it's an ugly win, but the bottom line is we had this young team at Alabama faced a very adverse situation last year. A lot of these guys are, sophomores or freshmen who played senior high school football last year. Basketball. What am I talking about? And they played in almost crowdless stadiums and arenas, right? And now they have this crowd atmosphere that wasn't there, right? So this dynamic is back again. Also, after watching Miami the last 2 weeks, maybe we got a little excited, a little too excited about Alabama's defense. I don't know. I think there are some key components there. I'm really concerned about the middle. There was a lot of passes hit in the middle. There was a lot of running that went through the middle that just that really concerns me. But Saban is great at this kind of thing. You go in the close game last year to Ole Miss. After that, what happened?
They turned it.
Exactly. So one of two things is going to happen. The guys are going to use this as a learning experience, and they're going to turn it around and go full steam ahead, or they're going to get worse. Now, the next 2 weeks, there's Southern Miss and then Ole Miss, and I think Southern Miss should be a game to reevaluate. And I'm not saying Southern Miss can't beat Alabama, but you can't take them lightly either, because it's a Division I school and they've been known to surprise teams too. So
Alabama in 2004, 2005, they beat Alabama.
Yeah, something like that. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. And the way some of these teams are playing right now, Tulane coming in close to Oklahoma. Tulsa played a close game with Ohio State yesterday until the last few minutes of the game, last maybe 5 or 6 minutes of the game. Ohio State finally pulled away. So, you don't know, but hopefully Alabama will come out, handle business, get their feet up under them, and go into Ole Miss prepared. Because if they don't, that Ole Miss team is looking very put together right now. And now they haven't played a team as good as Alabama, so it'll really test both teams' mettle right there. But it's also in Bryant-Denny, so I think Alabama does have the edge. But again, I don't want to look too far ahead. Just looking to next week, and hopefully the guys will respond in a positive manner.
I sent you that video earlier this week of Tim Tebow and Stephen A. Smith, and I kind of laughed it off. I was like, Tebow, dude, you can't use weather against a Southern team.
Yeah.
The weather was really a big factor into the game, but I think the crowd noise, I think the atmosphere of the swamp altogether is what really, when they had to go, Saban talked about it in his post-game presser on the field. He was talking about how when we had to go silent, it really caused some confusion on our offensive line. Our offensive line started, breaking down on the interior. You brought up over the middle. One thing I do want to say is Dan Mullen, I want to give him the roses now, because that dude, it seems like every year he brings a team that is not up to par with Alabama. And I'm not saying that Florida is not wholeheartedly up to par with Alabama, but he brings a team and puts them on the field that's going to compete no matter what. And so like I give Dan Mullen all the preps. I give Florida all the preps, man. They really stepped up. And I look at this Florida team and I'm really impressed, the way they run the ball, the way they receive the ball. They broke down Alabama's defense from the middle out. And at the same vein, though, I want to talk about Pete Golding. And it seems like he just doesn't know how to adjust when the team starts getting beat. When the team starts getting beat across the middle, Pete Golding, instead of going to a 4-3, which would have stopped the throw in the middle of the field, every time they went to a 4-3, they got tackles for loss and they stopped the run, and they also protected the middle of the field. But it seemed like all he wanted to do was run that nickel package that put 4 down linemen, 4 really big guys. And I brought up DJ Dale in a conversation that we had earlier, but these guys are only getting 3-4 tackles a game, and we're getting exposed in the middle of the field. And our cornerbacks looked god awful yesterday. And I don't get it. I don't understand how you got people like Jordan Battle and Malachi Moore and all these amazing defensive backs that we've seen come up big, and they just looked like Jalen Armour Davis, man. They just looked bad, and it looked like they were ill prepared. They were not expecting Florida to throw, and then when Florida started running and opening up the field, it was not a good game all around. But then again, Alabama did what they were supposed to do, and they came in and won the game. As Jermaine Funny Mae Johnson would say, struggle, win. We give it to them. I give the roses to Florida, but man, I'm not too happy with the way they expose the middle of our defense. And it just goes back to that Pete Golding thing, man. I haven't been high on him from the very beginning. I still am not high on him. Saban's got to do what Saban thinks is best. He's won 7 national championships and I've won 0. So I trust that he knows what he's doing. But at the end of the day, something has to be done here if you're Alabama, because you can't go into Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, who is the best offensive minded coach in college football right now, and expect him not to, like, he's looking at that Florida game and he's licking his chops, man. He's tasting it. He's seeing every way he's going to expose Alabama's defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I'm kind of nervous about that game if we don't fix something.
Yeah.
I put the blame, I'm putting the blame on Pete Golding, because you can't get exposed in the middle of the field all game long and not try to adjust anything. It's like he didn't even want to adjust the problem. Yeah. He's like, we'll give you this. And you just can't do that, man.
The one thing that really just ate me up was giving up big plays on 3rd and long. We got them pinned back, or Alabama's got them pinned back on the 1 yard line, 3rd and 10, and I can't understand why it's just wide open there. Now, I don't know, I'm not a defensive coordinator, and I'm not, some football guru or anything like that. But there has to be something you can do to stop that. And then there was another 3rd and 19. 3rd and 19.
And they have the field wide open, like the middle of the field. And that's
no one was around. No one was around. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's going on here? Why is there nobody in the vicinity of this throw? He's got all day long to make this throw, and then when he makes it, nobody's there. Where is the defense? Where? But I'm not saying Pete Golding doesn't have some responsibility, but also guys are obviously not doing their jobs.
Guys were not
So,
covered.
I mean, busted coverage. There was a few times Henry To'oTo'o looked utterly confused, like he didn't know what was going on. And he's not the only one. I mean, Job missed a few plays. There was some terrible penalties against some of our guys that, I mean, I'm not, it just wasn't up to standard, outside of the penalties. I think Florida just played better football. After the first quarter, Florida was the better team. It just so happened that Alabama was so much better in the first quarter that it was enough to outlast the three quarters that Florida did win.
So you brought up penalties, and this is the last stat that I'm really going to bring up because I'm kind of like ready to move on from it. Florida beat us in time of possession, but here's the penalties, man. Alabama had 11 penalties for 81 yards. Alabama doesn't have 11 penalties in a game. Not the Alabama we've seen. Florida had penalties for 67 yards. We had so many pass interference penalties that, like one or two kind of questionable. We were texting about one of them, but and it was on both sides for those first two. Like we kind of understood it, but it wasn't really making any sense. But then as it came down to the wire, you got, Jordan Battle don't do that. And yet he's given up 15-yard passes. Josh Jobe doing the same thing. He's letting people throw over the middle. Like these guys don't do that, and yet they looked like they were inexperienced. So I just bring that up because you can't continue this. Matt Corral is gonna him and old dude from Ole Miss, coach Lane Kiffin. They're gonna expose the crap out of our defense, man. Matt Corral loves that middle of the field pass, that 10-yard dig, that 10-yard skinny post. He's gonna hit that all day long. And Alabama's
hopefully we'll be prepared. I mean, hopefully Alabama will be prepared for that game when that time comes. I can only assume that this game will serve as a learning experience for these guys. I mean, the positive thing is they did come out on top, despite the adversity, despite a hostile environment, and despite not playing very well and, having a lot of penalties and stuff. They still ended up coming out and they made some big plays when it mattered, getting that stop on the 2-point conversion. That was huge. And then, getting the sack at the end of the game to seal it. So, I think there are some good takeaways, but the defense needs to do a few things to clean it up. But hey, right now, the only team that really don't look like they need to clean anything up is Georgia.
Dude, Georgia looks solid week.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk. It's gonna make me sick. I don't want to talk about it. They look good. They look good.
Georgia beat South Carolina yesterday 40-13, and I'm not saying that Georgia is the best team in the country, but if I had to put money on it right now, I don't think Alabama is
you probably already knew you could get an auto
there. I don't even have a video. Where did that come from?
I have no idea.
Sorry, guys. Georgia just looked so good.
That commercial was free, by the way.
You what?
I said that commercial was free.
Yeah, that commercial was free. Sorry, guys. Georgia, though, ever since they played Cincinnati, they got a grit about them, man. JT Daniels finally got to play, and he looked like he was the quarterback that should have been week one. He had 303 yards on 31 attempts for 3 touchdowns and an interception. I wasn't expecting, I put them on upset alert because those are the games that they've lost before.
Yeah.
But needless to say, man, Kirby is poised right now. He's got his boys in full swing. He's getting stronger each and every week.
Yeah.
And, a lot of Florida fans were talking about after that game, hey, we'll see Alabama in the SEC championship game in Atlanta.
They still got to get through Georgia.
You got to beat Georgia, bro.
Where's the Florida Georgia game at? Is it in Athens or is it?
Let me look it up.
Gainesville? Because that's going to be huge.
Let's see. Schedule. They play Florida in Athens.
So Georgia's going to have the edge in that game. You know, it doesn't mean they're going to automatically win it, but their defense looks so good right now, and they're the best run defense in the country at the moment, at least that we've seen. So I don't imagine Florida's going to be, you know, lighting them up for that many yards running, and they're certainly not going to line them up for that many yards passing. Question is, can Georgia's offense, you know, score on Florida? But that's several weeks away, so we got a lot of football to play until then, so I don't really want to get hung up in all that. Couple of games I did want to kind of talk about, not really talk about, but just kind of mention that really stood out. Oklahoma barely skating by Nebraska. Like, Oklahoma was supposed to just dominate this college football season, and they are, in my opinion, it seems like they're really struggling against any team that is not, you know, just terrible. And Nebraska's not been great, you know. So I mean, a couple of things. If Nebraska didn't play terrible, they would have won that game, because it's not like they played the game of their life, and Oklahoma just happened to screw it up and just, you know, barely won because they screwed up so bad. No, Nebraska played terrible and still only lost by 7. So that's what I'm saying. You know, when Oklahoma faces a team that can actually challenge them, they're probably going to go down. I imagine, depending on how well Texas responds the next few weeks, that might even be a really good game. But that's here to be seen. Cincinnati looked really good, especially in the second half yesterday. And Ole Miss took care of business. Virginia surprised me, beating North Carolina. I don't really care to spend much time talking about that game.
North Carolina.
Huh? No, I'm sorry. I said it backwards. I meant to say North Carolina beat Virginia. Yeah. I'm sorry. My bad.
Just had to catch you.
My bad. I said it backwards. Yeah, I'm a little dyslexic. Sometimes I get my merge mixed up. And then I don't know why I actually wrote it down backwards for some reason. And then Virginia Tech coming out on top of West Virginia coming out on top of Virginia Tech. I was looking at that one correctly and said it backwards. So that, you know, there we go.
There you go. Look,
I need a new day job. And I just wanted to make mention of Michigan State handling business with Miami. Miami's not quite the team we thought they were going to be. Their defense is just awful.
Yeah,
and what I mean by they're awful is there is no defense.
Look, Oklahoma, everybody talked about how bad or how great Oklahoma was going to be. Spencer Rattler got outplayed by Adrian Martinez. This is the second game this season where he has not been the best quarterback on the field. Meanwhile, he's in contention for the Heisman Trophy. Don't get that so much.
Yeah.
It don't make sense.
I don't imagine he will be by the end of the season.
He's, I don't get it, man. Everybody talking about how great of a prospect he was, how great of a quarterback he was going to be. It don't make any sense to me that this dude is not able to come out and dominate. He's got literally the best quarterback coach in all of college football in Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
And the previous 3 quarterbacks that came out of there, Baker Mayfield, phenomenal quarterback. Kyler Murray, phenomenal quarterback. I hate saying this, Jalen, even though Jalen was part of our team, but Jalen Hurts, he's not
even
really,
had an Alabama quarterback come out of there that's really great.
They had an Alabama quarterback come out of Oklahoma that was really good. And oh, dude, I don't get it, man. I don't understand the hype around Spencer Rattler. He has not shown me he's ready to be Heisman contention or anything. And I'm not even saying that Bryce is Heisman contender. Like, he's not playing great football either the last 2 weeks. So, I don't really know. I have a dark
Right
horse.
now, I think Matt Corral is probably leading the Heisman race.
Well, I have the dark horse of Tank Bigsby, man. He's proven it over there in Auburn. He's kind of under the radar right now.
We'll get to that in just a minute. Probably need to wrap this one up as far as videos go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just wrap this one up and we'll get to that in the next one.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sitting with us. If you could give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe if you can. We would greatly appreciate it. Hey, also go check out our website, southofthemouthsports.com. And you can find some really awesome merch. We'll be posting some blogs here soon. Just interact with us, man. Give us some comments, please. Like, we want to know your opinions. We want to be able to interact with you guys. So, that's all I got. What else you got, B?
I'm good with that, man. Just like, comment, subscribe, and we'll move on from there.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace.